Did you ever have that one class that you just cannot seem to level? For me, that class was Rogue. I've just never been able to really get my hands and sink into a Rogue. I've never been able to really sit there and go, I want to get through the leveling experience. And no matter the buff, no matter the EXP buff, the boost, this, I even once used a full boost on a Rogue, still never managed to get him to max level in that expansion. It's just something that's never really come across for me. I know traditionally in World of Warcraft there have been classes that players have struggled to level. A lot of those classes are, for example, Shaman. Historically has been quite difficult for players to level. I know that historically new players have struggled with classes like Mage, have struggled with certain spell casting classes because of the casting times, because of the vulnerability so low, because of the need to do certain rotations and abilities. But for me, it's always been so interesting that everyone has that hang-up class. Everyone has the classes that is their go-to. Everyone's got that one class that they can just, level infinitely and play constantly and never seem to have a problem with. Everyone's got those one class, that they can use. But for me, what is so interesting is the fact that everyone also has that one class that they just cannot seem to get going with. And for me, that is Rogue. Rogue is just 100% so difficult for me to get into. I don't know if it is because I struggle with melee DPS. Historically, I don't play a lot of melee DPS. I play a lot of tanks when I play melee specs, and then when I'm playing DPS, I very often will play a spellcaster or a ranged character because I just enjoy the experience. I enjoy the rating. I enjoy the way that I get to play the class as a ranged. But it is so interesting to me that I've never been able to get going with a rogue. Maybe I don't resonate with them lore-wise. Sometimes it's not really just about whether you are able to connect with a character's playstyle. Sometimes it's not whether you are able to invest yourself because of the strength of the character or class, or the ability for you to resonate with their playstyle. It's more that you just don't really vibe with the character. Leather gear for me isn't always been the most fun, even on my demon hunters tanks that I play, and especially early on druids and other classes. Not been a huge fan of leather armor. That could be a contributing factor. Again, it could be the playstyle. I don't really like the idea of high single target damage, the lack of AoE, the inability to clear certain quests quickly. Sometimes those can be hindering factors. I think for me with Rogue, that is one of them. Every class seems to have some kind of AoE. For Rogues, although there is AoE, I mean, you've seen me use Fan of Knives here, it just feels not the priority. And the way I like to play, the way I like to integrate myself, it can definitely feel like, I think, more of a hindrance to me than not. But at the same time, there's tons of really cool stuff with rogues that I think, I just never really valued. Sprint is really awesome. The stealth mechanics are really cool. I always want to level a rogue for PvP, but I never get to the point where I can do PvP. But you can do PvP while leveling. So maybe the solution is just to play a bit of PvP while leveling. It's always those type of things. It makes it so interesting to me when you look at the spectrum of units, when you look at the range of units and classes that players play, what is holding them back. The other class that I've traditionally struggled with is Monk, which is weird because monks have a literal leveling boost. Like monks have an actual EXP boost. But Monk for me is also just another class that from a lore perspective, I just don't really resonate with. I have nothing against them. I think they're cool. I liked Mr. Pandaria a lot. I loved Mr. Pandaria when it first came out. I love Mr. Pandaria Remix. I like Mr. Pandaria's aesthetic. I love all of the raids pretty much for Mr. Pandaria. So it is pretty weird that I'm not a huge fan of monks. Maybe it's because I had to watch Kung Fu Panda 16 times with my younger sister back in the day. But it's just so interesting how monks are also another class. Again, a more melee DPS class. It's just so interesting to have these kind of things happen. To have these certain roadblocks that we have when it comes to characters. And I think it's just something that is maybe not so much the joy of World of Warcraft, but it's one of those things that's so interesting to hear every player's experience being slightly different. You get pictures of those players that level 18 different warriors or 22 different mages or 14 hunters, and you have those people that play one of every class at max level and have an ult of every class. And then you just get people like me who just refuse to ever completely level one character. I think it's so interesting, and it's such a unique and like poignant thing that people all experience, because everyone has their own reason for not leveling that character. There's no one specific reason. It's not just because of playstyle, it's not just because of this, it's a combination of factors that I think is so interesting. So I would love to hear what that class was for you. Why have you never been able to level that class? What's holding you back? Was it the expansion at the time? Was it a personal issue? Was it a social issue? Do you just not want to resonate with that class? Do you just not vibe with the lore? What was the reason that you couldn't get yourself going when it came to that class? I'd love to hear it. I think it would be a really fun, interesting comment to read. So please let me know. And yeah, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.